Okay, looks like we are live from Washington State. It's the accidental art maker and her 3 pots. Let me take this off so you guys can see what the heck I'm talking about. Okay, so as you know, if you've been following me, my name is Sharon. I'm the accidental art maker. I'm not on camera because I haven't showered yet today or put on makeup, but I've been working all day and I got a 45-minute walk in. So I'm just kind of chilling off camera. And I thought to decompress, I would come on here with you guys and have a little art happy hour. So hopefully, if you're watching at home, either now or later, you can sit down and decompress with some art with me. Feel free to pick up your own paintbrushes, your own needles, whatever your medium is, and let's just chill out a little bit. Okay, so if you're watching now or on the replay, welcome. If it's your first time watching me, let me know. And then that way I can answer any questions you might have about who I am and what I do and all that good stuff. And if you're a returnee, let me know. Let me know you're here because I like chatting with everybody. Okay, so um, if you are an IOD, Iron Orchid Designs uh, person, then you know about the new release that's come out. Part of the new release on Valentine's Day were 3 new molds, and I've been playing with them, but I haven't been able to finish anything because I've started like 5 projects at the same time. This is project number 4. I took some plant blah blah. I can't talk tonight. I took some planters from IKEA and I painted them, and I've started adding on uh, the molds to them. The doors right here are from Hidden Hollows. I don't know. My brain is dead tonight. I really should just shut up and paint. I'm going to move these 2 to the background, but let me just show you. I got some turtles over here, a pretty purple door, and ladybugs and snails. And on this one, frogs, and a little entrance right there. I want to start working on this one tonight. I'm loving the leaves and the details here, and I wanted to come in and paint the door, add some metal here around where I think there should be metal, and then we'll see. I might paint these outside here just to give it a little bit more depth so you can see the stones out here. These I'm going to probably be adding some gold golden ticket to, because I'm kind of curious to see what the toadstools look like with that. And then this, I need to pick out a color. I'm thinking yellow in here, maybe yellow mixed with some white, but we'll see. I want to see how this turns out first, this door, and then I'm going to go, and then I'll hop to the side embellishments and see where that takes me. So we got Kathy saying hi. The doors are clay. They are the IOD air dry clay, which is awesome clay. I was able to make out of 1 package of clay, I was able to make 2 sets of the doors, and then I think 1 set of mushrooms and 1 set of dewdrop, which is the other mold. So it went a long way. I'll be putting together a video that shows this process from beginning to end. I had painted these pots with DIY cottagecore colors, and then I went back over it with some watered down DIY 57, and you can kind of see here where the cottage colors underneath are peeking through, and I really like that. So I might go back in and just wipe wipe these back just a little bit, but I'm also kind of liking the little bits of color that are coming through here. So we'll see. And at the end of the day, I'm putting these 3 big plants in them, and they're sitting on these 3-tiered tables, and they're sitting next to a sofa in the sun. So I want them to look, the way I'm picturing it, the finished product is like, these are 3 kind of like small people homes, fairy homes, that are in a plant. And I want them to look distinct from each other, but also like they're part of the same neighborhood. I guess that's the best way to put it. Yeah, but the IOD clay is the best clay. I haven't used resin for too much, and I've only used like some of the other cheaper clay for things that are temporary. This I want to last a long time. It's going to be in a busy area. I mean, I've got stuff hanging off the top up here and up here and over here. So I want it to be pretty good clay. All right. What are the pots made of? They're just these cheap pots from IKEA. I don't even remember how much I spent on them, but they're from IKEA. They're originally black, and they were fine just the way that they were. But also, I really wanted to just get some color and some boho feeling in my studio where I'm at. So, hey Rana, how are you? I hope your week went really well, and you didn't get much snow, I don't think, where you're at, but I got a ton of snow over here, and it's still quite frozen. So I've got some potted plants that I'm putting in here. It's not going to be outdoors. This is for indoor plants, and the indoor plants are in plastic containers, and they'll tuck inside here just fine. And I'm not worried about moisture in my clay at all. Between this pot, it's not like a terracotta pot, and the clay being so dry, it's going to be just fine. All right, now I'm going to stop for a sip of wine. I've been talking so much. All right. So like I said, let me get my wipes. So I've got some wipes. Usually I use baby wipes, but tonight I'm using these because it's what I've got. All right. So backing up a little bit, I love the greens in here. I really don't want to touch that. And I'm going to come in here where this door is, and I'm going to paint it. I'm thinking about making the mushrooms yellow. These are kind of like this bluish purple over here. There will be gold overtones throughout. So I'm thinking the door could be fun in orange. Do you see how I did this door right here? Like I had it like this pink color, and then I took, I did a custom mix to make a purple, and then I washed it back and stained it. So I can do something like that, or I can make this solid door and then put in something dark on top of it to make it look a little bit newer. I don't know. Let's see where things take us. Let's start with, I think, you know what I've got? I do have bohemian blue. I'm going to do bohemian blue. Okay. I was joking with my husband tonight when I was opening up my bottle of wine. That metal casing on the outside around the cork, I cut myself with it, and he was like, you should put a Band-Aid on that before you do your live. And I was like, I'm just going to put some of the DIY paint on it because it's made of clay. There's like seven ingredients, and it's mostly clay, so it's good. A clay bandage. Okay, so bohemian, I got my water here, and I need a pretty small brush that's good with details. Oh no, that's too big. I got these through Amazon. You know, I'm going to go with one of these new brushes. Why not? Okay. See, I'll be able to be pretty specific with this. All right. So I am gonna water my brush here a little bit off camera. And then I want to make sure you guys can see this okay. All right. Can you guys see that all right? Is that better? That's probably better. All right. Move my paint over here. And then I'm not using an overhead camera today, so it's not my usual setup. I'm going to just start in here where it's really easy. Oh, that's very pretty. And then bring my brush down and see. I did use a lot of water on the purplish one back there. I've got these lines in here. So you all tell me where you are watching from, please. What's going on? How was your week? Any fun plans for the weekend besides painting? Let's see here. I am dipping my brush into water before I dip it into the paint over here. Get the paint up there so you guys can see me. Just to water it down just a little bit. I do want to come back in here and wipe this back. So now I got my small brush. I go in there. So I've got 3 projects just with molds alone. I finished up bungalow transfer projects. Well, it's not true. I still have one I haven't started yet, so I'm not counting that among my projects to do. One snow day, yeah. It is, usually things melt over here after we get a day of snow and it's just gone, but it's like freezing temperatures and we have weather coming out of the gorge here in Washington. So I can see Mount Hood from my front door. It's a ways away, but we get the gorge wind coming through and it can be quite cold when that happens. And it's the first time I've seen it with snow in quite a while. All right, this is looking really pretty. I like the dark wood. I like when I'm using the small brush. I can get in here to the details. Now that looks like wood out here on the frame too, so I'm just gonna do that also. I could leave this outside frame dark and not wipe it back. And then have like the dark boho blue. That's really pretty. And then I could wipe back just the interior wood here. And I got a little bit of a spot up here. And I've got a little place down here. Places that I've missed. Oh, look, and there's a little bit of wood peeking out right in here. Loving it so far. Okay. I'm usually a fan of painting big pieces of furniture. That's kind of where my heart goes. Even smaller pieces of furniture, but when I saw these molds, I was like, I got struck with the home decor bug pretty hard. Okay, you guys see that all right? Are we really expecting more snow? Ah. All right. Taking another small sip of wine. I got my wipes here, and I'm going to start down here where it's drying. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of a rub. Isn't that pretty? Come down in here. I really like the faded wood look. that I'm getting with this. Let's see. I do think I'm going to come back in and make that outside a little bit darker again. Now I'm going to get in here on the door. You can kind of see the bottom half is darker than the upper half. Kind of liking it a little bit on the darker side. So I'm just going to come back in here. Whoops, way too much water. Come back in here. Give it just another little going over. Can you guys see okay? Sorry, my hand's in the way. And I want this outside to be dark for sure. All right. I'll take a lighter hand this time. I'm going to come back in here, this door frame. Keep that dark. You see how that right there, you've got, right, let me get it in the camera, huh? I like how that bleeds down into the wood. It's very slow. I bet if I took some water, it would speed up just a little bit. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Take a little bit of the top off. Let's see. Yeah. You see how it's going down those lines? You have the patience of a saint to do that for the whole thing, huh? Let's see. Take a little bit off because I want to go running. See that? I like the dripping effect. All right, a little bit more. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Oh, now it's getting into my leaves. Well, no. Sorry. All right, that's some experimenting for you there. Let's see. Let's break this back a little bit here. Are you guys comfortable experimenting, or do you prefer like really step-by-step directions, or like what's your approach? I think either way is fine. I think as long as you're enjoying yourself and you're creating. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit dark up in here. There. All right. Let's see. There we go. Full faded looks good, yeah. Hey, we've got K Fitz. That name sounds familiar. What is is it Karen? Seems like I know a Fitz. All right, so I've got that right there. I want to do these outside bricks here, but I'm not 100% sure yet how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to come in and paint these yellow. I'm going to get rid of, well, I'm going to put the lid on this right here. Take a sip. Yeah. I think that's the thing about ideas. Do you mean just like kind of going with your ideas? Rona or Rana? Please correct me. Is that Ron, like Ron, or is it? I think that's what we said last time. And you told me and I forgot. Sorry. All right, so now I'm going to get out my yellow for the mushrooms here. This could go horribly wrong. I could also mix it up with a little bit of yellow. I mean, yellow, a little bit of white. But I think for now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a bigger brush. Yeah. Let's see here. Whoops. Don't need a screwdriver. I need a brush. Okay. My brush. Probably too big. All right, maybe I just stick with my smaller brush since I'm having success with it. All right, and I've got my yellow here. I actually have this great lid full of paint up here, and I'm just going to dip in here because I don't need a ton of paint when I'm doing this. Oh, I love this already. Okay, yellow mushrooms. Is there such a thing as yellow mushrooms? Let's get in there. What do you guys think so far of the IOD release? Have you gotten your orders? Have you been playing already and creating things? I prefer a combo. Instructions are good. Yep, it's like framework because they can lead to ideas. Yeah, so you kind of got your directions as kind of like your starting point, but then you're not feeling like you're glued to it. Like you can make your own. I'm the same way, except when I'm learning something very new, then I might follow the directions from the beginning to end just so I can kind of get the new thing down and understand it. And then from there, I feel like permission to experiment after I've kind of gotten like the main skill set down for what I'm trying to do. All right, I'm loving this yellow. If you hear screaming in the background, that's my son, and he is playing a video game. This is day 3 of no high school for him. All right, that is looking pretty. And this is going to need to dry. And then I'm going to want to come back in here with something darker to bring out these lines for the mushrooms. But I do like this yellow. Let's see if I can get in here. Oh, let me get that cap. Get in there. Get in along that side. Make sure you guys can see this. I was just thinking something dark, like maybe even dark and decrepit, but like imagine purple in here. That could be really pretty. These have to dry more before I get to do that. All right. There you guys go. All right, let's see. Yep, directions to get ideas. Exactly. I think you're probably responding to what I said. I really need a show producer at this point. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Crimson Poppy. I love the doors too. They just like make me happy. It's like when I see these doors and there's like all the different way people are creating with them, they're so amazing on the outside, but I always wonder what's on the other side of that door, because if the door looks this cool, what the heck is on the inside? All right, so we got my yellow mushrooms are drying. I know I want to do something out here, and like I said, I want to do some gold on these guys over here. So let me put my lid back up. I knocked over some paint the other day. Let me show you. So this is my messy bottom there. But there's some old 57 there on my white shag carpet that I'll ask my husband to take care of this weekend. But right now it is what it is. All right. Another sip of wine. Okay. So gold on these gold mushroom caps. You know, gold could look good on this too. Okay, let's see. Let's do the gold over here first. So I've got golden ticket. It's a liquid patina. Get these out of the way. And oh, it needs a little mixing. Give me 1 second. It's been a while since I used this jar. It had split up into a couple of different levels, and the top was perfectly clear, which I haven't seen that before because usually I go through these jars really fast. All right, mix this up. Uh-oh. Give me a second here, guys. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. Mix this up a little bit. All right. Usually I use my finger, but I think I'm going to use a brush and then wipe it back. All right, let's do that. I'm going to get a new brush. This is going to be, use one of these guys. All right, let's see. All right. So I'm just going to do this whole cover the mushroom thing and then wipe it back. See what I get. I'm especially interested along here along the top where I got a lot of purple, but I didn't wipe it back. Like I would like that to be gold mushroom top. All right, that's pretty. Let me get my wipes here. I'll wipe it back. Oh, see how the gold goes into the cracks? That's what I was trying to get at. I also got some gold in up here. I have to come back and get that out later. Let's do it down the stem. And I want to get underneath in here too. Kind of just like in the gold with the, let's see. Sorry for the shaky camera. I keep hitting it. Now instead of wiping, I'm just patting because I'm curious to see. I like that. It's messy up in here though, which I don't like. And then these purple blobs I'll have to fix. So I might just come back in here with some of the old 57 and I'll just touch up where you see I've messed up. You know where I really want some gold? It's on the tippy top up here. There we go. Let's see. Maybe heavier gold along the bottom here too. And white dab, light dab. All right, I'm liking that. Let me see if I can. Kind of hard to see. Oh yeah, you guys can see that. Okay. My husband got me to the doctors and toadstool molds for my birthday. The doctors? You mean not toadstools? Okay, mushrooms and clay. Placing order next week. Oh yeah, I'll still have them. The great The great thing about this release is that there's no limited editions, and, I've already placed second and third orders on a lot of different, items because they are selling super fast, which is the good news for me, but the good news for you is that they're not gonna sell out like the Christmas items did. That was That was pretty brutal. I tried to order as much of the Christmas stuff as I could, but, when it's gone, it's gone. All right, for the limited items. Okay, now I've got this in here. I'm gonna wipe back just a little bit. I wanna get along the bottom here. All right, I am being a little bit sloppy. It has nothing to do with the wine. It's a long week, people. If you heard me mention about my son playing video games and he's been home for 3 days, so there's nothing like a bored teenage kid. All right. I ventured out in the snow yesterday to get over to the UPS store and the post office so that I could get orders out. And by the way, UPS is still closed today over here. But along the way, I was like, well, if I can get my son to his girlfriend's house, for a couple of hours, and that can help alleviate some boredom. But that was not a smart move. Let me tell you that. There we go. I like that gold. So now I want to try some gold over here. It's still a little bit damp, but let's just try it. Let's see what happens. All right. So the gold is totally, I just want to get it like in the cracks, so that, yeah. Yeah. It's not, okay. So here's what's happening here is that the paint isn't dry enough. And when I'm wiping, I'm taking off some of the paint, but I am liking this effect, how it's in the cracks right there. I will hold it up closer in just a second. Let me do this mushroom right over here. Okay, you on it. Okay. Let's see here. Wipe back. You can see how that light cottage color underneath is popping up through, and I really like that. Let's see. Owl molds. I have never had an owl mold. You might be thinking from years ago I had owl stencils, and I loved those, but I have no idea where owl molds are. The paint looks blue on my phone. So, the background here is like a turquoise blue, and this is a deep dark blue right there. So, yeah. Okay, let's come in here and wipe up this little mushroom. You can see where I got sloppy. Oops, and I got too rough, and now a little bit of paint came off right there. Let's see if I can. The original pot is like a glossy. It's not rough, and I didn't sand it or anything, so the paint on it will definitely need a top coat. All right, let's get some gold on these stems. Super pretty. Let's get in here and just do a light wiping here. That's really pretty. I feel like it needs to be lighter on top. So I'll wipe back a little bit on top. Like that. Love it. Let's get in here. It's so pretty. All right. So any place where you see me get sloppy, I'll come back in and paint over. Paint over, it's this one right here. It's like old 57 or something like that. And I'm loving that. So now you can kind of see I've got my golden mushrooms on the outside. I do need to do something with this frame. Like I need to make this pop out just a little bit with something. And you know, I've got some black. So I think I'm going to take black and then wipe it back. So let's see what that looks like. Let me take care of this right here. I have learned my lesson. I'll put my lids back on the paint when I am done with them. Okay. Let's see here. I could use darker and decrepit, but I'm going to stick with paint. So I also have green. So green could make it look like a dark green, could make it look like a mossy color, but I don't want to do that. Where's my black? Here we go. All right. Another option too would be to do a white. No, I think I'm going to try the black. Yeah, I don't think IOD has owls either. You might have been thinking of somebody else. Crimson, yep. I think Crimson Poppy, you can find her on Facebook and follow them if you want. Am I recalling that correctly? I think I am. Okay. So now I'm going to leave my gold brush out because I might want to come back in and do some more gold, like on the smaller details here. But now I got my black paint and I really just want some really pretty lines and I want the details in here to pop. I don't want it to be like a solid color, whether it's black or whatever. All right, so I'm cleaning my brush. Aw, Poppy. I love that. That's so sweet. Okay, let's come in here. And we're going to do a little bit of a black bump on here. I have my brush super wet. I'm going to come back here and wipe it. Yeah. See, it looks like stone now. I like that. All right, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do these in a little bit more water in my black. I want to do these sides. The details really are amazing. I'm kind of like, when I put the plants in, I'm like, no one's going to be really looking at these, but I don't know. I could be wrong. All right, I wiped back too much and in the wrong place. So I don't want anything really in the cracks here. I think that's fine. Maybe I don't need to wipe back. Get that up here. Oh, that's a stone. So that should be darker color. Okay. All right. So that is looking. All right, Sharon. I'm extra messy tonight. These are the kind of days where I'm glad I don't work like with a jackhammer. All right, I'm gonna do more of this door after I take another sip of wine. Poppy. That's what my grandchildren call my son, Poppy. your son is their dad, right? And they call him Poppy. I'm kind of jealous of you guys because my father passed away when I was pretty young. I was like 28 or 27, way before I had kids. And so my children never got to know their granddad. And then on my ex-husband's side, he passed away. We have pictures of the kids with him, but he passed away before he could be a significant role model in their lives. But I often wonder what my dad thinks when he is checking in. Because it's a much different role today than when he raised me. All right, let's get some black along this side back here. There we go. And then I think just a little bit of water will help thin this out. I'm being super sloppy tonight, guys, so as long as nothing's permanent. That's a great thing about this paint, is that I can pretty much wipe back to almost the beginning. And it's okay if one side's darker than the other. It gives it a little bit more detail. All right. I am liking that. I'm going to put a little bit of dark up in here. I think I'm going to put some down here too. Oh, Ronnie, you miss your dad too? Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to know what they would think, right? Like we have a very different a very different world. Like my dad was a huge Star Trek fan, but I think if you told him about smartphones, he'd just look at me like I was crazy. But I do miss him a lot. I missed him when I especially miss him when my kids have made some kind of big achievement, or have done something. Like my son was playing at he had a solo and a jazz concert about I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and he was so good. And my dad loved jazz, and I was just like, man, if my dad was here. But then I kind of got the feeling like he was, like that feeling of he's not missing out. I don't know if that's just wishful thinking or if that's the way it is. But sometimes I feel like I see him or feel him. I definitely, after he passed away suddenly, and we were on very different. I was on the West Coast and he was on the East Coast when he passed away. And after he passed away, I had this wonderful dream where I got to sit down with him at a picnic table on this big grassy hill underneath the shade of a tree and just talk to him for hours about everything. He was like the first person I was pretty close to who passed away. Need some black up in here. But he would love my kids. He wouldn't understand everything. So like my daughter is gay, for example. Like that was not in his world at all. But I do think he would try to understand. He might not, I don't know how to put it into words, but like he might not understand it, but he would try his best to appreciate the relationships my daughter has had and stuff like that. And then my son is Mr. Nerd, straight up A student, who my father would totally understand. But I mean, who knows, right? All right, now I'm going to go in here in these cracks, and I'm just going to try and darken them just a little bit. Also, I'm divorced. Like, I think that was like another thing like my dad would absolutely not understand. But he would have beaten up my ex-husband for sure. I probably shouldn't say that, huh? All right, let's see. Get a little bit more detail on this up here. The green and the black are kind of fighting with each other. So I'm going to wipe it back a little bit. Let's see. Yeah. I still have dreams about my dad. And the morning that I found out, before I found out my sister had passed away, I woke up and I looked across the room and I swear my dad, but not my dad, was like sitting in the chair across the room, and it scared me so bad. Because that's something like that had never happened to me before. Like dreams, yes. Presences, yes. But I had never like actually like looked across the room after he passed away and be convinced he was sitting there. And I was wide awake and I knew that too. And then the phone rang and it was my mom to tell me my sister had passed away. So I kind of think that there was a connection there. It's probably the best way to put it. So anyways, those are my crazy Friday night stories. All right, so it's been 45 minutes, which is probably about like what I'm most capable of on a Friday, even with a glass of wine. I still have more work to do on these, and I was hoping to finish them all, but we don't know how that goes. So I'm thinking these look really pretty. I have messes to clean up here. I still want to come in here. I might come in here with a very small brush and do some gold in here. I'm not sure, or maybe another color. And then I feel like I need to come in here and make a little bit more of a border between the dark and the light in here because it's kind of spilling over a little bit. And I can see my brush mark. What I really want to see are the details underneath. So I'll probably come back in here and wipe that up just a little bit. But from where we started to where we are now, I'm really happy with it. And I should be able to get this done tomorrow. And then let me show you my other 3 pots here really fast before I sign off and what my plans are. So definitely brown for the wood here. And then I'm thinking like a kind of like probably to match the stone here, a black here wiped back, and then more metallic in here for these little fixtures. And then for the frogs, I think I'm going to try the gold on the frogs and wipe that back. And then I got to figure out a color. So this was an accident, in case you couldn't tell. Mr. Frog or Mrs. Frog was originally up here and kind of slid down a little bit and got into this little interaction with the lizard down here. So I need to figure that out. I kind of like the little lizard pink, and I would like the lizard to be pink and green, pink and gold. And this just might be gold here too. So we got a frog over on this side. So that shouldn't take too long. And then this one back here, I'm especially loving. So one of the things I'm doing too is I'm learning with these new molds is that I try to save the one I like the most for last so that things I've learned along the way I can apply to the next thing I'm doing, of course. And I'm loving the leaves here and the purple stone. The snails, I think I'm going to make the same, like maybe like a golden shell with the gray snail. And then ladybugs, I'll be pretty traditional with those. I want to highlight the leaves here. And then the turtles, these are kind of funny because I was just playing around with these. I think these were the first 2 molds I put down. And I was thinking like about a turtle race when I put them down, like they're racing towards the plant to eat it or something like that. But pretty much when this pot is sitting there, people aren't going to be able to see the turtles where the turtles are in the back. So that's a good place for me to start experimenting with the turtles and seeing what I like there. Like I want a green, of course, for their shells, but I'm going to prop shells, but I'm not going to do something this dark. I'll probably do something a little bit lighter here. And who says turtle shells need to be green, right? I don't know. Anyways, so that's it for tonight, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Um, it was nice chatting and catching up. K-Fit says, I might have to get these molds. Yeah, give them a try. They're really pretty. If you're into cottagecore, I just want to make these doors look like some of the other stockists have made some pretty amazing doors, and I want to have the same reaction to my doors as I've had to theirs. Let me put these up here like this. You guys can get a little good sign off there. Thanks for joining me and listening to me ramble. It's been really nice to chat with you guys. Rona, Stephanie, K-Fits, Crimson, thanks for joining me. And I appreciate you guys as, my customers and friends and comrades in art. So have a great weekend, create a lot, and have a blast while you're doing it.